we washed our hands next to one another, and I was like, can I please take a picture with you? And he's like, you want to take a selfie? And I was like, you want to get married? That last one didn't go as well as I planned. Woo! Hi honeys, it's Emmy. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Emmy. I'm a certified nutritionist and the creator of the Slim on Starch program, where you eat a plant-based diet and you lose that weight, honeys. So in today's video, I'm doing another Instagram weight loss Q&A. So I headed over to Insta and I said, hey guys, what questions do you have for my next plant-based Q&A? And this is what you said. So we got 10 great questions. If you're trying to lose weight on a plant-based diet, I want you to make sure that you download my top 3 mistakes video training that I have. Just click it in the down bar. All right, let's go ahead and get into these questions. I'm eating 90% whole foods plant-based, oil-free, and I'm still gaining weight. What gives? Honey, I feel ya, Ophelia. I was eating 100% whole foods, plant-based, oil-free, and I was gaining weight. This is why I'm so passionate about doing what I do, because when I came to this lifestyle, I was gung-ho, whole foods, plant-based, oil-free, doing the whole thing, and I felt amazing. My running times decreased dramatically. I felt so incredible. I felt connected to the ethical side of it, and for that reason, I was like, I'm never going back to eating the other way that I was eating. No way. Not a chance. But like, what gives? Because never in my life had I experienced any weight issues. I was always an athletic kid and never was overweight, but even still I was gaining weight, and I was like, this does not add up because I'm doing this perfectly. And that's why I do what I do, because it's very easy to make mistakes when we come to this lifestyle. And I have a ton of videos about the mistakes that I made when I became a healthy vegan. So I suggest that you go check those out. Just go to my channel and click and search healthy vegan mistakes, and you'll see some of the mistakes that I made. For instance, I was eating 472 pounds of medjool dates per minute, and that is not really conducive to being at a healthy weight, because dates are 1,200 calories per pound, and yes, the dates themselves do not make you fat. However, the minimal amount of fat that you're eating, so let's say you're eating totally whole foods, plant-based, oil-free, all of that, and you're eating like 4,000 calories a day. Well, if the food that you're eating has 10% fat in it, because all foods have fat. Grapes have fat, all whole foods. Grapes, potatoes, quinoa, rice, beans, they all have a little bit of fat in there. And let's say your diet is 10% fat. Well, the 10% of that 4,000 calories is going to be stored as fat, well, over whatever it is that you burn. So let's say you burn 2,000 calories a day. That's 2,000 extra calories that you're eating a day, and 10% of that is 200 calories, which means you're storing 200 calories of fat every day, and slowly but surely it will creep on. There's a difference between health foods and weight loss foods, and that's something that I talk about in my program and teach you the mistakes that you're making. We pinpoint those mistakes so that you don't make them anymore and you do start to lose weight. Easy, simple, flavorful whole food recipes. I just put up a video of my 3 weight loss lunches for work, and they are so good and so simple. So I'll put the link in the down bar and you can check it out there. Great breakfast for people who don't like oatmeal. Do you know what is so funny is that we are conditioned to believe that there are breakfast foods and non-breakfast foods. Something that we talk about in my program is that you can have any food at any time. When you go to different parts in the world, you know, in Asia, they're eating rice for breakfast, but in the United States, that seems like a weird thing to do. We don't want there to be snack foods, breakfast foods, dinner foods. We should be able to eat any food at any time. You don't have to eat oatmeal for breakfast. You could eat potatoes for breakfast. And if vegetables and potatoes don't sound good at breakfast time, then perhaps you're not truly hungry, because true biological hunger can be satisfied by any food. So you can have rice and beans for breakfast. You can have chili for breakfast. You can have sushi for breakfast. That's what they do in other parts of the world. We're just conditioned to believe, honestly, that we need to have a sweet breakfast. And bunnies, you just gotta eat potatoes. How can you eat plain oats? I tried it, but for me, it just tasted like cardboard. Something that we talk about on my program is that if you need to put a little bit of sugar or salt on the surface of your foods so that you eat those foods, then do it. If you are not gonna eat oatmeal unless there's a little bit of brown sugar on there or a little bit of maple syrup, then that's fine. There are people in my program, Courtney, for example, who has lost an awesome amount of weight. She looks incredible, and she's had a little bit of brown sugar on her oatmeal every morning. Hi, Courtney. I hope that you're watching this and you know that I'm talking about you. If you find that it is an issue, then you'll start to perhaps sweeten your oatmeal with something like fruit. But something else is that we go through this process of neuroadaptation, which is short for neuroadaptation, where your brain and your taste buds are going to react differently to the food now that you are only giving yourself food that's not hyperstimulating. So if you're coming from the standard American diet, where all of the food that you're eating is very high in sugar and fat and oils and processed foods, then your dopamine, like the expectation that your brain has for the amount of dopamine that you should be getting from each food that you eat. Let me back up a little bit and explain that dopamine is the motivation chemical. So when we get dopamine, it's this feel-good feeling that motivates us to do something. And all food releases dopamine. It triggers our brain to release dopamine because eating food allows us to survive. The more calories something has, the more dopamine is released, because more calories, better chance for survival. In the primal days, that was. Now we know that it's totally the opposite. Anyway, so the food that you used to be eating was so high in calories that you would get such high dopamine hits. And now the food that you're eating is lower in calories, so you don't get as much of a dopamine hit from it. And so that means that you are going to think that these foods taste really bad and you're not going to be motivated to eat them. But the reality here is that when you just eat these foods, then the amount of dopamine that you're getting actually becomes satisfactory. And the people on my program can attest to this, that your taste buds do change, and you will be able to taste the natural sweetness, and things like romaine lettuce has a natural sweetness to it, and zucchini has a natural saltiness to it, and you'll be able to taste these things. And the people in my program can absolutely attest to this, having superhuman taste buds. If you're eating fat from plant sources like nuts and avocado, is it bad for weight loss? So the fact of the matter, honey, is that you can lose weight eating anything. You can lose weight eating Twinkies. You can lose weight eating avocado and nuts. The reason why I don't promote it on my program is because I don't promote calorie counting. The way that you can lose weight eating nuts, seeds, avocado, Twinkies is if you are consciously eating less calories than your body burns. If you're counting calories, then you're able to eat really small amounts of fatty foods and you'll still lose weight because the amount of calories that you're eating is less than what you're burning. But I don't prescribe to the whole counting calories thing, and I think it's a huge headache, and it just sends you down this path of restriction that always leads to binging and further weight gain. And so I promote a different style of eating where you don't have to count calories. You can eat as much as you want and turn your body into a fat burning machine. And the way that we do that is to eat all foods that are less than 600 calories per pound, which is starches, vegetables, fruits, and legumes, which are all low in fat. The foods that are higher in fat are higher in calories, and you're more likely to store body fat when you're eating foods that are higher in calories and fat. Do you do intermittent fasting? I have a video about this. I naturally do intermittent fasting, and I did intermittent fasting before it was cool. Before there was even a word for intermittent fasting, I was doing it because I naturally did it, because I run in the morning. And because I run in the morning, I don't like to eat before I run. And so it was just a natural thing for me to get into. And so, yes, I naturally do intermittent fasting. I don't do it forcibly. I don't force myself. I can't eat until X time, or I have to stop eating at X time. I don't do that. But I do naturally not eat in the morning, and I like to have my bigger meal at the end of the day. Also, I have noticed that with some people, when they purposefully intermittent fast, it does lead to overeating, and they let themselves get so hungry that this binge tendency kicks in. If you find that that is the case, then do not intermittent fast. I just did it naturally, and I absolutely love it. Can you lose weight while eating a high-fat vegan diet? Yeah, so like I said before, you can lose weight on any diet. You can lose weight on a diet of Twinkies, Pepsi, and Mentos, even though the Pepsi and the Mentos, I don't know why I said that, like Coke and Mentos, you know, explodes. That was actually in chem, my sophomore year of high school. We did Coke and Mentos for our science experiment. Those were the days. But anyway, you could lose weight on that diet if you don't explode. If you're eating less calories than you're burning, then you're gonna lose weight. But that's really just not something that I wanna do. It doesn't promote sustainability. It's not something you can stick to. It's a huge headache. It's the hot mess express. And if you wanna do it, go for it. I really don't recommend it. And I really, really don't recommend high-fat diets for the effects on our heart and our cholesterol. How often could you have a cheat meal and still be on track for weight loss? So I don't like the term cheat meal, and it's not a term that I use in my vocabulary or in my program. Instead, in my program, we create a system. And in that system, that denotes the times when you're not going to be eating food that's whole food plant-based. Whether it's going out for a date night with your husband, or it's your kids' baked brownies and you're going to have a little bit of those, or it's Christmas and you eat cinnamon rolls. That's like my favorite go-to one. Oh, it's Christmas and I'm having cinnamon rolls. But it's the times in your life when you're eating food that is not whole foods plant-based. Whether it's vegan or not vegan, that's up to you and your ethical decisions. For me, I'm always eating vegan, but that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is that the question is, how often can you do these things and still be on track for weight loss? This is something that you are gonna have to experiment with. I have clients who once a week, they have family dinner, and I'm thinking of one client in particular. Once a week, she has family dinner, and that family dinner, she eats whatever she wants, and it's her motivation to stay on track for the rest of the week. And also it keeps her relationships with her family intact so that they can still go to family dinner and not worry about the whole food thing. I would love if there was a world where we could go to restaurants and get whole foods plant-based, but she also lives in an area where it's really tough to do this. And then there's somebody like my dad who has cheese on his pizza once every 2 weeks, and like if the old woman that he volunteers for bakes him cookies, he eats them. He's a vegan. And then there's me, who will never eat anything non-vegan for the ethical reason, and I am eating whole foods plant-based like 95% of the time, unless it's a holiday or my birthday, in which I will eat some lightly processed stuff, always oil-free, of course. But the fact of the matter is that this is different for every person, and it's something that you have to experiment with. The only way you're gonna find out the answer to this question is if you run an experiment, and running experiments is really fun, so I encourage you to go for it. Do you really think women can get as skinny as you are, or do genetics play a little role? So I have not always been as lean as I am now. People think that I have been, which is just funny. Like, they're like, you don't understand. You've always been that thin. No, I haven't. I really haven't. I had a much more athletic build when I was in high school because I was an athlete. And I still am an athlete now, but I really just mainly run. I don't do any lifting or anything. But like I told you, I started to gain weight when I got on this lifestyle. So I know what it's like to gain weight and to be like, whoa, well, this is not where I want to be. And that's why I do what I do, because I've been heavier than I am now, and I know what it's like to be frustrated by that. So this is not genetic, honey. This is what's going in my mouth, and it can be what's going in your mouth too, and be the body that you have. How do you lose weight without slowing down your metabolism? Eat a whole foods plant-based diet. I heard this straight from the horse's mouth, and by the horse I mean the handsome Dr. Neil Barnard at the Australasian Nutrition and Healthcare Conference that I went to in Melbourne. It was so fun. It was my birthday weekend this year. It was just awesome, and I met him. I took a picture with him. We washed our hands next to one another, and I was like, can I please take a picture with you? And he's like, you want to take a selfie? And I was like, you want to get married? That last one didn't go as well as I planned. In any event, what Dr. Neil Barnard said is that our metabolism increases from eating a whole foods plant-based diet, and studies show that that's the case. If you want to lose weight, there's 1,000,001 ways to do it, and one of the ways to do it is to calorie restrict, and that slows down your metabolism. If you don't want to restrict your calories, you don't want to slow down your metabolism, you want to eat as much as you want, you don't want to control your portions, then eat a whole foods plant-based diet. Eat the diet that I eat. Literally go to my What I Eat, Everything You Have to Know video and do everything that I do in that video so that you can eat as much as you want. You can lose weight and find your body's natural ideal weight, and you won't slow down your metabolism, and you'll be able to eat a lot of food. People are so shocked by the amount of food that I eat, and it's because I've been eating this way for so long, like 5 years, and my metabolism is awesome because of it. But that wasn't always the case, guys. Remember, I changed my body and I changed my metabolism just through changing the food that I was eating. I'm not genetically gifted. I'm not some superhuman who can just eat crazy quantities whatever I want. No. The way that I got this way is from changing the food, and that can be you too. So that is it for this video. If you guys like these videos, like I got a jillion questions and I just chose 10 of them. So if you want me to do more of them, I'm more than happy to do all of them. Just let me know. Just leave a comment. I adore you. If you want to get that training of the top 3 weight loss, you know what I'm saying, the top 3 weight loss mistakes that I see when people are trying to lose weight, then click it and get it in the down bar. All right, my honeys, I adore you, and I'll see you in my next video. Woo!